In the top stories, NEVIS teachers complete training to become certified CVQ assessors. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister shuffles cabinet, and United Nations call for action on Nelson Mandela International Day. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Thursday, July 18th, 2024. I'm Scotticia Hendrickson. Nationally, 19 educators from NEVIS has successfully concluded a rigorous 4-week Caribbean Vocational Qualification or CVQ Level 4 assessor training, marking a significant milestone in their professional development. The training, aimed at equipping them to become CVQ assessors, culminated in a closing ceremony held at the Malcolm Gishad Recreational Park on July 12th. The Minister of Education, the Honorable Troy Liburd, highlighted the importance of this achievement in advancing technical, vocational, educational, and training, or TVET, in the region. He underscored the critical role of CVQ assessors in evaluating the skills and competencies of individuals seeking CVQ certification, crucial for enhancing the Federation's sustainable development efforts. Councillor Ivan Chen, representing His Excellency Michael Lin from the Embassy of the Republic of China, Taiwan, commended the collaboration between the governments of St. Kitts and Nevis and Taiwan in supporting the vocational qualification system. He praised the dedication of the participants and emphasized the impact of their training on national vocational standards. Janesta Charles, a facilitator of the training, highlighted the comprehensive nature of the assessment process, which included practical demonstrations, oral examinations, and portfolio development. This approach ensures that assessors are proficient in evaluating candidates across diverse vocational fields. Reflecting on the training, participant Kurt Franklin expressed appreciation for the program's depth and relevance. He emphasized that the skills acquired will enhance their ability to effectively assess and guide students within the TVET framework, promoting best practices in vocational education. The participants are now set to complete their certification by submitting portfolios showcasing their assessment capabilities by September 2024. Among the dignitaries present at the ceremony were the Honorable Senator Iseline Phillip, Minister of Gender Affairs, Ms. Zanella Claxton, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, and Dr. Courtney Thompson, CEO of the St. Kitts and Nevis TVET Council Secretariat. The training initiative was made possible through a collaboration between the Ministry of Social Development and Gender Affairs in the Nevis Island Administration, the federal government, and the Embassy of the Republic of China, Taiwan in St. Kitts and Nevis, underscoring their commitment to enhancing vocational education across the Federation. Troy Nisbet will represent the Twin Island Federation of St. Kitts, Nevis in the sport of swimming at the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. He earned his spot at the Games through what the Olympic Committee calls universality places. According to the International Olympic Committee, universality places are a lifeline to athletes from unrepresented national Olympic committees. They are designed to increase the diversity of participating nations across the sports program of the Olympic Games. While some nations may qualify dozens or even hundreds of athletes for the Olympic Games, others are left with very few athletes once qualifications is complete in each sport. Universality places are available in qualification systems of select sports for nations with traditionally small delegations. These quotas are allocated to eligible national Olympic committees by the Olympic Games Tripartite Commission. The commission is made up of representatives from the International Olympic Committee, Association of National Olympic Committees, and Association of Summer Olympic International Federations. On July 10, 2024, the CCJ Academy for Law launched its documentary, Legendary Caribbean Legal Practitioners, celebrating 48 exceptional Caribbean lawyers. This release is the third installment of the Academy's Eminent Caribbean Jurists series and premiered during the Legal Conference of Criminal Justice Reform at the Guyana Marriott Hotel, Georgetown. The documentary highlights lawyers from various Caribbean nations, including Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, the Bahamas, Barbados, Belize, British Virgin Islands, Grenada, Guyana, Haiti, Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Suriname, and Trinidad and Tobago. At the event, remarks were made by Mr. Tenny Husty of the Guyana Bar Association and Mr. Ruggles Ferguson of the OECS Bar Association. The CCJ Academy presented copies of the documentary to several dignitaries, including Guyana's Attorney General, Mr. Mahabir Nanlal, SC. The documentary is available on YouTube, and publications can be purchased on the CCJ Academy for Law's website. In regional news, St. Vincent and the Grenadines' Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has announced the first shuffle of his cabinet since his Unity Labour Party, ULP, won a historic fifth consecutive term in office in November 2020. Gonsalves said the former Minister of Public Service, Frederick Stevenson, has been appointed Minister of Foreign Affairs, including the Regional Integration and the Diaspora Unit. This change replaces Kisal Peters, who made history as the country's first female Minister of Foreign Affairs in August 2022. Gonsalves added that Peters will assume the role of Minister of National Mobilization and Social Development, as well as Postal Services. He also mentioned that before the impact of Hurricane Beryl on July 1st, he was considering splitting the Ministries of Housing and National Mobilization due to ongoing housing issues following the volcanic eruption in April 2021. According to Prime Minister Gonsalves, there are many societal safety net issues to be addressed because people are suffering from this terrible disaster, so she has her work cut out, and she would have to decide to split those ministries to ensure focus, attention, and have put in place supporting administrative arrangements. Dr. Orlando Brewster will remain in the Ministry of Housing, and Informal Human Settlement will also take on the sports portfolio that was previously held by Stevenson. The Prime Minister also announced that he will take on the public service portfolio previously held by Stevenson. In other regional news, Grenada intends to introduce fiscal incentives in the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl to support the rebuilding and repair of homes and structures, as well as the activation of businesses. Speaking during a media conference on Wednesday, Finance Minister Dennis Cornwall says these fiscal incentives will come into effect on August 1st, 2024. Details about this measure will be provided at least a week before July 2024. Hurricane Beryl destroyed 90% of buildings on Carriacou and Petit Martinique, as well as damaged homes in northern Grenada. It was also announced that the government will implement a waiver of all taxes and duties on all relief supplies imported for personal use, that's barrels, boxes, or crates, up to December 31st, 2024. The contents of these boxes could be foodstuff, clothing, and household items. The minister says households will be limited to 2 barrel boxes or crates per family. Since the last update on recovery efforts post-Beryl, Cornwall says the Grenada Disaster Relief Fund stands at EC 3.91 million as of July 17th, following the ECCB's $1 million grant. Grenada has also received $44 million payout from the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, or CCRIF-SPC, which was triggered following Beryl. The finance minister says despite all these commitments and donations that have been received, they constitute just a small part of the fund needed to rebuild. Cornwall says Grenada continues to work with its partners, donors, and friends to raise as much as funds as possible. In international news, in commemoration of Nelson Mandela International Day, Secretary General of the United Nations emphasized the enduring legacy of Nelson Mandela and called upon individuals worldwide to take action in creating a more equitable and just world. Quote, Nelson Mandela showed us the extraordinary difference one person can make in building a better world, she said, the Secretary General. He underscored the theme of this year's Mandela Day, highlighting the urgent need to address poverty and inequality globally. He noted that the world is unequal and divided while pointing out the prevalence of hunger, poverty, and environmental changes exacerbated by human choices. The Secretary General highlighted that the top 1% of the population emits greenhouse gases equivalent to 2/3 of humanity, stressing that these disparities are not inevitable but rather the outcome of human decisions. Quote, we can choose to eradicate poverty, end equality, and transform the global economic and financial systems in pursuit of fairness, end quote. He affirmed while calling for collective action to combat racism, uphold human rights, tackle climate change, and foster a world that benefits all humanity. Reflecting on the power of individual contributions, the Secretary General echoed the Nelson Mandela Foundation's call for people to dedicate 67 minutes of public service on Mandela Day, symbolizing each year Mandela dedicated to the fight for justice. Quote, every one of us can contribute through action, large and small. He emphasized urging global solidarity in honoring Mandela's legacy by striving towards a better world for all. The Secretary General's message resonates a call to action, urging individuals and nations alike to illuminate Mandela's vision of justice, equality, and human dignity on this day and every day forward. Meanwhile, in the United States of America, President Joe Biden's re-election campaign is under scrutiny as he battles a COVID-19 infection, prompting top Democratic leaders to privately express concerns about his candidacy. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries reportedly met individually with Biden to discuss worries over his ability to compete against Donald Trump in November. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has also reportedly advised Biden that his chances of winning the elections are uncertain. Biden, who announced his COVID-19 diagnosis on Wednesday, is experiencing mild symptoms and will isolate at his Delaware home while continuing his presidential duties. His campaign events have been paused following the diagnosis, which disrupted his efforts to court Hispanic voters in Las Vegas. Despite calls from some Democrats for Biden to step aside, including Congressman Adam Schiff, who suggested Biden could secure his legacy by passing the torch, Biden remains committed to his candidacy. The situation remains fluid as Biden focuses on recovering and navigating the challenges ahead of November's election. Observers note the political and health uncertainties surrounding Biden as the Democratic Party evaluates its strategy for the upcoming election. And now for the weather. Present weather is cloudy skies with slight dust haze. Winds are a moderate breeze of 18 miles per hour from the northeast. Temperature today is 31 degrees Celsius or 87 degrees Fahrenheit. Seas are 1.2 to 1.8 meters or 4 to 6 feet. Therefore, small craft operators should exercise caution. The weather forecast in St. Kitts and Nevis for today will be partly cloudy skies with a 40% or moderate chance of showers. Tonight predicts partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 60% or moderate chance of showers. Sunset today will be at 6:49 p.m. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:45 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Scotty Sia Hendrickson.